Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to our powers, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. A give it double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that have taught us this truth, that are constantly ruling well through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. A peace, mercy, and blessings to the beloved brethren that are out there pushing this word wholeheartedly in truth and in sincerity, that are not wavering to the left nor to the right, but constantly stand on that straight and narrow, fighting for your crowns in these last days that we are truly living in. Shalom to the few sisters, the wives that are out there, and shalom to the Israelite foreigners, those that may look like the other nations, but their seed line goes back to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Hardy shalom. And just want to do a quick lesson, Lord willing. It's edifying through the Holy Spirit. On this channel, Natalie Brunel, she's interviewing Whitney Webb, pretty much kind of based on the movie Leave the World Behind, which was a good depiction of, things to come, foreshadowing, pretty much America being shut down, chaos erupting within the major cities, all telecommunication cut off, and how events will play out between friends, families, and loved ones, as the scriptures say, the love of many waxing cold in that aspect. And these nations pretty much putting forth a cyber attack to disrupt our society as we know it. But she makes some interesting points concerning how these Edomites want to confine you to a small world where AI rules over you, you know? And as of right now, most of us doesn't know that a lot of this technology is actually dumbing the people down, okay? And you can actually see it, especially with them using these TikTok shorts, YouTube shorts, Instagram shorts. These actual shorts are actually lowering your attention span, and pretty much the technology that we use today is going to make you more dependent, whether it's for critical thinking skills, writing skills, you know, pretty much anything that you need to make judgments, it's going to take all that away from you, okay? And you're going to solely depend on that AI, man. So she kind of goes into just telling you, how the upper echelon, what I'm saying, society, which we know as the Edomites, okay, that rule over this world, Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked, right? They're getting ready to enjoy the world, and this is the type of sick fantasy that, they believe to come to pass as far as their new world order, and it sounds like a straight out of the movie or the show Black Mirror. Sounds just like out of the show Black Mirror. So, slack you for rambling. I'm gonna just play for the most part. I'm gonna let her speak, and then I'm just gonna grab a couple scriptures and then just close it on out. So, brothers, the spirit to hit you to do a response to this. Bible Kashaw, edify on it. Some good information in here. So, with no further ado, let's get into this thing.
We obviously can't have that happen. So you have to identify the problem to fix the problem, and you have to realistically assess not just what the problem is, but what you can do about it.
Whitney, human nature is imperfect. We've always had corruption, and I feel like every adult in every generation says that things were better when they were younger and people were less corrupt. But do you think that we're kind of at this inflection point where things are made worse because of what technology enables? Like, are we living in the most corrupt era because everything potentially is so centralized with these forces?
So, yeah, centralization, I think, is part of it. But also, I think, there's a lot of people, psychologists specifically, that work for, the public relations industry or propaganda arms of governments, for example, or intelligence agencies that have studied very closely how to manipulate human behavior with technology. And I think...
I'm about to ask ChatGPT.
social media companies have their origins with intelligence, or if they didn't at the beginning, they certainly do now. And how they know that the like news feeds on social media can be used to manipulate people's emotions, or manipulate how people perceive events and reality. They leverage that. And to think they don't leverage that, I think would be really naive. So as an example, one that's like sort of well known and easy to find if you search for it online, is Facebook attempting to study how to manipulate people's emotions to make them feel like more negatively, like intentionally make them more depressed, by bombarding them with like largely negative news on their newsfeed, right? And so, we can assume that they do that with all sorts of things and specific events. And when you consider the fact that we know now, and we've known for some time, quite frankly, that a lot of these companies, for example, selectively censor things, they're trying to cultivate the public's perception of events and reality and all sorts of different things. And so social media is a big tool for that. And then also, the whole like dopamine stuff with like and like attention span impacts that social media and like stuff like TikTok and all of that is having on people. It's not really talked about enough, and for those of us that lived a decent part of our lives without that stuff, it affects us differently than like little kids that are exposed to that from extremely young ages. And how does that affect the brain? How does it affect socialization when all of that is still like developing? I think a lot of that has had like mostly negative impacts, and a lot of it doesn't get talked about. It gets normalized. And, there's a whole,
which a lot of us just here take the tablet, and our children be using these tablets. So from about 5 years old, and I believe maybe even a little younger than that, but up, the blood-brain barrier is easily pierced through the radiation that is being emitted through the frequencies that is pushed through the devices. And Esau knows this, So, like she was mentioning, the way that it affects us as being older, a lot of these children that are born in, the year 2000 and up, pretty much 2014, a lot of our children is being raised off of these tablets, man. So you can only imagine the type of psychological and impacts, that's affecting these children nowadays. A lot of these little youngsters that are barely hitting 20, 21 years old, a lot of them are retarded. Sad to say, but that's the actual truth. A lot of them are retarded. You know what I'm saying? And you can't even really have conversations with a lot of these youngsters nowadays because they don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? And like she said, Esau has been using this technology in ways to manipulate the mind, and this is what they study behind closed doors, how to destroy Israel. Matter of fact, I know I said I was gonna get a couple scriptures, but as I'm speaking on that, let me just grab one right now. Okay, let's go to the book of Psalms 64. Okay, let's get this. This is Psalms. What's going on, man? Okay, let's try that again. This is Psalm 64, chapter 64, verse 1. It says, "A psalm of David, hear my voice, O power, and my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." Okay, because these Edomites, they don't sleep unless they cause some to fall. So when they imagine wickedness, they imagine wickedness on how to destroy the children of Israel. All right. And they do it in a subtle way where you don't think that it's causing harm to you. And that's what technology has done to us. Whether you use a microwave, whether you go to a fast food drive through, whether you use Wi-Fi in your house, whether you call somebody around the world on your cell phone, or you know you, you messing around, you playing video games. A lot of these devices are designed in order to destroy us, but it's a slow kill. And that's how Esau destroys us, all right, on a low level. He's destroying us, our molecular structure on a low level, man. And that's why we popping up with cancer and all these different diseases, okay, because we getting fried. These frequencies is frying us. So imagine your children at 5 years old, where their blood brain barrier hasn't even fortified itself yet. you know I forget the actual age where it does become stronger and harder, so it's less impacted. You brothers could look it up for yourself. But it glows red inside of their brain to show you how much of that frequencies is all up in their head, man. You know, and that shows you that Esau is just frying the shit out of our children's brains, and that's just another reason why we need to get out of this society. We need Yahweh Shah to come and rescue us, because on all different levels, I didn't even mention the food, the water, the air. A lot of these uh, devices have been weaponized against us. Okay, right? It says, verse 3, it says, who whet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Who are the perfect? The Israelites. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They don't fear how they're attacking God's chosen people, all right? And how they're abusing and overly using us, okay? And this is why when Yahweh Shah does return, their downfall is going to be one of the greatest, okay, that the world has ever seen. When we're talking about these global elites, because of the accounts and receipts of everything that they have done to the Lord's people, man. You know? So let's watch a little bit more on this, right? See what else she has to say.
There's we could do probably a whole podcast just discussing like all the different impacts that has on people, and the type of impact it's had on different generations. Another big problem, though, that does come up a lot in my work is the role of like how that data produced by all of this is harvested by intelligence agencies and then fed into AI, tied up with like this blob of Silicon Valley national security stuff, because they really are fused. They're the private contractors for the intelligence agencies, and there's a lot of overlap at this point between them, but there's a lot of efforts to like predictively or use AI predictively to see like who's going to do what, or will this person commit a crime? Will this person do that before, like this whole pre-crime paradigm and all of this other stuff. And we're seeing this trouble push to sort of define alleged misinformation online, like treating that as like cyber terrorism or a cyber crime. That online speech is, becoming criminalized. It's not just like censoring, it's like moving into that other sphere. So there's a lot of problems there. And so like a lot of the people that own this technology that's having these other like psychosocial impacts, negative impacts on humanity, are also controlled by a very centralized group that has like very specific agendas. In my opinion, they're essentially in control of the US government, and they're like very, I see them as pretty much overtly fascist at this point. A lot of the Silicon Valley billionaires very interested in having like very tight control over the U.S. political system. I mean, they do in terms of like political financing and stuff of both parties, and over our media, and just an insane amount of involvement with intelligence agencies, the military. As an example, like former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, is like funding major parts of the Biden administration right now. He's been a long-time big donor to the Democrats specifically, but he's basically like been in charge of national security AI policy. He was the chair of the National Security Commission on AI. And if you like read the book he wrote on AI with Henry Kissinger, he basically described as his like mentor on this stuff. It discusses a lot of these trends and talks about basically how AI is going to essentially, they don't call it a neo-feudal society, but they basically talk about how it's going to stratify society into two classes. And basically the people who like program and maintain and direct the objectives of AI will be in like one class. And then there's this large underclass that AI will act upon, and they won't understand what AI is doing to them. And they also say that people that become dependent on AI for decision making, for writing, for communicating, all sorts of stuff, will become cognitively diminished. And I mean, we can already sort of see it happening to an extent with like how massive generative AI has become with like GPT, for example. You know, the whole idea that people have known for a long time, if you don't use it, you lose it. So, you know, if you're a writer, for example, you use ChatGPT to write some stuff for you. You know, maybe you do it occasionally at first, but then you become dependent on it, and then you forget how to write without it. I mean, that's essentially what they're talking about, and that's where they're taking us with really everything AI is offering to help us with. And ultimately, people that are so cognitively diminished, they can't understand what's happening to them, while you have this programmer class at the top that's like directing how AI herds us all. They're openly talking about how this is going to be the impact of that technology. And it's Silicon Valley and
So there you have it, you know. And you know, we've been speaking on this Song with the Apostles and Elders of Great Millstone for years, man. You know, telling you that Esau wants a world where there is no middle class, there's only a high class and a low class. Okay? And we seen the start of Esau breaking down the structure of society by cutting out the middle class during the time of 2020. You see what I'm saying? So as we're now, 4 years since the pandemic, okay, you can see how things have very much have changed, all right? And things are not going to get better because Esau's dystopian mindset, this is how he wants to rule over the majority of the people, is by having you cognitively destroyed and have you dependent on AI to make your decision makings, to make your judgments, to, you know, allow you to write, read, so on and so forth, man. While Esau sits back and he enjoys the world, okay, because he feels like the world was created for him. The scriptures say in Psalms that, how does it go? It says, let me get it real fast, all right? I think it's Psalms 46. Psalms 46. Is it 46? Bear me, Slakia. Salakiakim, it was Psalms 49 and 11. It says, their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They called their lands after their own name. So these Edomites believe in their wicked minds that they're going to destroy this world, rise back up as a phoenix from the ashes, and they're going to rule over the remaining people that are left on the planet Earth after the major destruction takes place. And we're talking about that major destruction as those ICBM missiles, you know. And this is why, you know, you got Mark Zuckerberg and all these different high-paid Edomites that are buying bunkers and they're looking to hide themselves. Okay, but prophecy doesn't end in the fashion that they believe it to be. Prophecy ends with Yahweh Shai returning to the planet Earth and dethroning the rest of these heathens, all on the behalf of what? His people. Okay, this is Psalm chapter 2, verse 1. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Let's look up this word, rage. Okay, the word rage is ragash, which means to be in a tumult or commotion, to conspire or plot. So what these Edomites do is that they come together with these plans, outrageous plans, on how they're going to spearhead and rule the world. All right, this is their plots. This is their plans. Okay, and they're only going to allow a certain few to be in on the gig. All right, the job that they're trying to perform, which none of us Israelites are a part of their meetings. None of us. None of us Israelites are a part of their meetings. We're not part of their G20 meetings. We're not part of any of them summits. We're not part of them top councils that they be having out in Geneva, Switzerland. None of that shit is Israel a part of, man. You know? But these other nations, they bring in and talk about how who's going to do what, who's going to play what part, all right, and who's going to be ultimately at the top, man. This is why, hey, when Yahweh Shai comes, all these nations are going to be confounded, seeing then that what? None of them are going to be at the top. Only Israel is going to rise, okay, to the top and rule forever. Psalms chapter 2, verse 2, it says, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cord from us. All right? Who do they want to keep us severed from? They want to keep us severed from our powers. They don't want us to be connected to Yahweh Shah. They don't want us to be connected to Yahweh, man. They want to cut those cords from us and keep us what? Chained up in slavery. This is what they imagine as far as their new world order and how to dumb us down and keep us enslaved, okay? But see, we have an understanding of what prophecy rules over all, because why? These are the words of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, those beloved Son, Yahweh Shai, okay? These words shall stand. These words are faithful and true, all right? We have a better end at the end of the tunnel, okay? The scriptures say, though he let, he's going to only let until he be what? Taken out of the way. So these Edomites have a purpose that the Most High is using them for. And when they fulfill their purpose, that's it. That's it. That's it. I'm not even going to, that's it for you devils, man. You know? Speedy riddance. Verse 4 says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Okay? Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasures. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill, Zion. All right? And that's who it's all about. It's about the monument of the Lord, which are the Israelites. Okay? Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 20. Because see, when Esau thinks that he's getting ready to accomplish his dystopian dream, that's when the Most High is ultimately going to step in and send back his son, Yahweh Shai, all right? When everything is fulfilled according to what prophecy, man? The mark of the beast being made mandatory. World War III. The final point when these nations shoot off their ICBM missiles to destroy their enemies. The Lord is going to come back with a speedy deliverance and a speedy destruction upon all the wicked. Let's read this in Job 20. Let's see. Let's start at verse 12. It says, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his meat in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of ass within him. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he buildeth not. Okay? Everything that has been done to God's chosen people, the Israelites, has all been taken up, counted for. All right? Best believe that the Most High, through his beloved Son, Yahushua, has always been watching. The angels have always been reporting on what has been being done on the planet Earth. Okay? Nothing has not been missed. It says, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. All right, dealing with the Israelites, right? When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So when these Edomites think that everything is all good, that's when the Most High is getting ready to what? Cast them down. Send forth what? That iron weapon, which is those ICBM missiles, because alongside with those ICBM missiles flying, that's when we're going to see Yahushua. Okay? It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yet the glittering sword cometh out of his goals. Terrors are upon him. And they're going to be inside of those bunkers. Hide us from the Lamb. Let the rocks fall on us. But they're not going to be able to hide from the Lamb, all right, which is Yahushua. The Lord is getting ready to snatch you devils out of your comfort and then put you what you did to his people in slavery, man. We're getting ready to put you in chains. That's what you call role reversal. Okay? So, Lord willing, this lesson has been edifying. Just wanted to get straight to the point. With that, I'm going to say shalom.